So I think for everybody, there's a pretty clear top four, at least consensus wise, not for you guys necessarily, but a lot of people have Golden at 5. And then you might be able to find 12 different answers for who is wide receiver 6 in this class amongst the different experts. We're using the consensus rankings. So we've got Tre Harris up next. Matthew, what's the eval on Tre Harris?
I think he's a really solid prospect, and to me, he really struggles with inconsistency. I rewatched some tape this morning because it's been a while since we studied him, and to me, the LSU tape last year really sums up his game. One of the first plays, he gets open deep. He's very smooth, has good build-up long speed, especially for his size. And he gets open deep on a 9 route. And then he lets the ball come into him. He basically just tries to cradle it into his body and drops it. It was a beautiful throw, hits him in stride, and he drops it. He didn't reach out and, attack the ball, right, which I would like to see in that situation. And then coming back later in the game, he's running up the seam, and he's got a defender right on him, and he basically goes through him to get the touchdown catch. So you see it in some areas, and you don't see it in others. And to me, that kind of wraps up his eval. A little bit inconsistent. And then to me, he wins really early. I think he has a good release for his size. He can win on slants, little hitch routes, wide receiver screens. I think he's surprisingly good with his yards after catch. He's not a burner, but to me, he's just really smooth and efficient with his movements, which I really like to see.
Man,
and he wins deep. I don't really see him win in the intermediate range a ton.
And that matters a lot, Matt. Yeah. One of the things I noticed is he's not in the Couch Scouts consensus top 6 at wide receiver. Did Matthew just lay out all the reasons why? Is there anything else?
Yeah, I mean, it's because we like other guys better.
That's fair.
That's a cheeky response, but in all seriousness, this isn't a situation where we hate Harris or we're telling everybody, fade him. None of us disliked him as a prospect. We had him with, really good scores for route running and release for a big guy. Solid ball skills, pretty average athletically, but like he mentioned, pretty good after the catch. So, solid player. We have him graded as a flex option. He's our wide receiver 9. But not a huge gap for us between wide receiver 6 and wide receiver 9. That's all. It's a pretty flat tier, I think. And we just liked a couple other guys a little bit better. But I think my biggest question is when I look at X receivers in the NFL right now for fantasy purposes, you've got your elite guys, Devontae Adams, T. Higgins, AJ Brown. And then who else is a big bodied X receiver that we care about for fantasy? There's just, Cortland Sutton, I guess. Then the rest, you got Devontae Parkers and Cedric Tillmans and the Josh Reynolds of the world. And it's it feels like in today's NFL, if you're a big bodied X receiver, you're either elite or you're not that good for fantasy. And I don't think Tre Harris fits the bill of one of those elite guys. So I'm worried about what is his range of outcome in terms of fantasy production.